Well, good afternoon. You're watching All Angles on ENCA. I'm Baron Hafke. Let's take a look at your headlines. Parents homeschooling, of course, their children should prepare for some big changes under the Basic Education Laws Amendment. I'll speak to Matakanye Matakanya from the National Association of School Governing Bodies shortly. The Forbes family says it believes police are doing all they can to find AK's killers, despite no arrests being made 7 months later. We bring you an exclusive by senior reporter Desintatia this hour. And the Electricity Minister is assuring South Africans that Eskom has ramped up efforts to curb rolling blackouts. While there's said to be a raft of changes for pupils being homeschooled, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill, which sets out rules around homeschooling, is being revised. Matakanye Matakanya, the General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies, joins us now for more on this. Thank you so much, Mr. Matakanya, for joining me this afternoon. Of course, you know, there's been a lot of confusion around this bill, but I do want to just clarify, maybe you can clarify for us. We know now that the adopted amendment provides learners, when it comes to homeschooling specifically, to still pre-register. That's still very necessary, but the site visits are not now necessary at homes. So, you know, some parents might see this as a little victory, but maybe just clarify this for us entirely.
Thank you very much, Baron. Good day to all your listeners. Firstly, I believe, Baron, the bill is a transformational tool that the department is using to transform our education. And I think historically, you know, how was the education captured. And therefore, it is in that context that I say, it is a tool that the department is using to transform. And it's not only the department, I think also the previously disadvantaged communities. I think they are happy about the bill because it also brings them on board. But one question is that homeschooling, it's really a problem when you look at it. However, maybe just to answer your question is that yes, it is improved. I mean, homeschooling has been there all this time, has been improved. Now it's just that some people are objecting to the monitoring by the Department of Education, which mandatory, it has right to do that. So people are objecting to that, whereas National Association of School Government, we are in support of that. And in support of that in the sense that, look, the department must know what these children are taught at home and how it is being taught, because the Department of Education has the responsibility to provide education through curriculum in this country. So there's no way that at one stage you'll be able to control the rest of the country, but the few people then have the education without the department knowing what actually are they doing. But at the end, if there is anything wrong, then the department is going to be blamed that now you sleep at work, why this thing has happened, whereas you are there, you are given the responsibility to ensure that now the justice is done in terms of the education of the children in this country. So they would not leave things to chance. Then that's why they are tightening the screw, then that they must be knowing what curriculum, the place where these children are taught, is it humanly, or all those areas, so that really and truly at the end of time, then these children must be taught in a humanly situation. So the department has the right, it is mandated to do that, has the right to do that, to assess the type of education these children are receiving, whether that is in line with the curriculum in this country, and all those things must be known by the department. I think the bill is talking to that. But now, as I said earlier on, that the bill is a transformational tool that we are using. But you must understand that now there are people, some in this country, who were comfortable in the past, and they still feel if you temper with this, then you are tampering with their personal comfort. And the department is not looking into the comfort of the individual, it's looking into the comfort of the South Africans. So I think we really have to understand it in that context, that look, the few people who have benefited, who enjoyed this benefit in the past, they still feel this benefit must go on for those individuals. So the NDR does not allow that. Yeah. Then transformation in this country does not allow that. It says all of us, then we must be treated equally. Yeah. So the department is trying to ensure that now every child in this country is treated equally.
I think it is quite important, very important fact that you mentioned there, that everybody should be treated, in the same scope, the same level, basically, and equally. So basically, just to clarify, there has been some, people that don't agree with this new amendment, or not really new amendment, but the stricter rules now when it comes to the report at the end of each phase, basically now will be required from a homeschooling parent or a qualified educator to be assessed. So basically what this means is after every phase of a homeschooling child, so they need to then deliver this report to the Department of Education, if I'm not mistaken, and then also maybe just elaborate on what that means for an educator.
Look, and as I said earlier on, Baron, is that the department has the right to know who teaches our children. I mean, we can't allow children to be taught by unqualified educators. Then you are disadvantaging those children. So the department must know that when you teach these children at home, who are these people? Do they qualify to teach children? Because you can't. And also, there is also an act that talks to the right of the children, that people who are not allowed to teach, to work with children, must not be allowed to do that. So, and how do you know if then the department does not assess these teachers and know them? Who are they? Where have they qualified? How have they qualified? And are they allowed to work with children? Because the law allows them to assess whether you are allowed to work with children or not allowed to work with children. So that is one part. But also to know when you are saying homeschooling, what is it that you are teaching these children? Because these children are South African children. The department must know what you are teaching them, so that it must not come as a surprise tomorrow when these children are to mingle with the society. Then they reflect something different, but we'll be blaming the socialization of those children. So the department does not want to be surprised. Because that is the responsibility that they are being given by this country, to ensure that now they look after the education of our children in this case. So they must submit those reports. Then the minister has the right to see those reports when the DG has the right, the department at its own on all the levels, department, the province, the district, they've got the right to look into that and assess and say, yes, this is correct. They're teaching, and I think also they must have the ATPs, the annual teacher, the ATPs, the annual teachers' plans. They must have them. So to say that at this point.
That is all we have time for, Mr. Matakanya. Thank you so much for, just clarifying that for us, Mr. Matakanye Matakanya of the National Association of School Governing Bodies. So basically, what this means is now that, parents of homeschooling, they should still pre-register, of course, for these, for homeschooling. They should register, but the site visits is now something that it has fallen away. So those site visits are not necessarily, their parents can say no to those site visits, or it can be a site visit at another venue. It shouldn't have to be at your home. But furthermore, the report does say, very importantly, what Mr. Matakanya said, that each phase will now be required by a qualified educator or assessor to prove the competency of a learner in that phase. So those reports will be made mandatory.